And thank you, Minister, for coming in this morning. I think anybody watching in will be disappointed that the Minister for Education herself isn't here, but I understand that she's not in the House because she is participating in the talks to try and finalise arrangements for the Leaving Cert. Minister, you know, from the start of the pandemic, we're almost a year in. It's the 15th of February now, and government did prioritise protecting lives and livelihoods. And in allocating €9 billion in the budget for education, I do think it indicated a strong priority from government to invest in both children and their education. For young people, this is it has been a really stressful year. In the country, we have had obviously 12 months of a pandemic, but for young people, they have been living with the pandemic in a way that I suppose us as adults live differently. Young people within their own families have obviously had to deal with the impact of the infection. More than 200,000 people have been infected. They have had to live with the impact of a loss of income and employment for their parents. They've had to live with the changed circumstances of trying to be educated remotely. I accept that there has been an improvement in this lockdown from the previous one in terms of the delivery of remote teaching. However, remote teaching is no substitute for classroom learning. And I think you would agree with that. You're a young man yourself, and Minister, you did very well in education. You're a graduate of Trinity College, and you also hold degrees from overseas. So I think you understand the value of education. You understand how important the Leaving Cert is for young people. And for this class of 2021, they have lost 5 months of their senior cycle. They have been denied the support, the emotional, the social support of being in classrooms, being in their school. They have been struggling to connect with broadband, with oversubscribed broadband in many households because you have parents trying to work as well as other siblings. Many of the Leaving Cert subjects, you will be aware, have practical components to them. They have been denied that opportunity to have that practical learning experience. And it's not just the formal teaching from their teachers that they're missing out on. They're actually missing the informal learning that they get from learning from their peers. The exchange of information, the exchange of struggles, the identification of this is an interesting part of the curriculum, this is something that excites us. So Minister, really more than ever, these students, the mocks have gone, the orals are uncertain, and what was devastating for them was to see adults and unions withdraw from talks. I'm glad that the talks have resumed. I appreciate that those talks are confidential. But Minister, I really hope you will be able to update the House and the Leaving Cert students who I'm sure will be watching today, who are really anxious for 3 things. They want clarity, they want certainty, and they want choice. And I don't think they're unreasonable demands for the Leaving Cert students of the class of 2021 to be making. And I also would throw into the mix, Minister, if you can, when you're replying, talk about how the applied Leaving Cert is going to be managed, if possible. And if you're in a position, I'd appreciate some comment on the Junior Cert also. Thank you for your reply, and thanks, as I said, for coming in. A flexible and agile approach that puts the welfare of students as a priority is obviously welcome, and we all support it. Have to say, Minister, though, it is disappointing that the department didn't provide more information to this House, and it is really disappointing that I suppose the Sunday papers seem to carry more detail than this House is being informed by the department, and I don't think that is appropriate either for the students. It's not fair on them, or I don't think it is appropriate for this House to be treated in that way. And I would ask, Minister, that when you return, I thank you for coming in here today, but that when you go back to Cabinet and you go back to the Department of Education from this House, please tell them that we want clarity and certainty and choice for the students of the class of 2021. And we would appreciate if the Minister herself could make time to come to the House at the earliest opportunity, accepting that there isn't, it isn't fair or appropriate to put an arbitrary timeline on it, but at the very earliest opportunity she would return to this House and update the House in detail on the arrangements that are being put in place. Gura Magat.